Okay. Friends, Gail is joining us from her car, so she may sound really, really far away, and she may not be able to respond to some of your questions directly. So we can take care of Gail later, but just to let you know that she is driving and listening in her car.
Take care of Gail later. Anyway, welcome to today's session. It is Business of Running a Library. We're going to talk about all the forms you need to file and what you have to do to run a library from the payroll position or the business office position. Some of our libraries are lucky enough to have an accountant. Some of our libraries are lucky enough that the treasurer may take it over. And some of our libraries have to do all the payroll on their own. So without further ado, we have Dilbert here joining us from CKLS, AKA Steve. And Steve, when you are ready,
Sorry, I thought you were all in the wrong seminar. Because I had a good message lined up. You know, I drove my Pathfinder through an sunflower field, and I, you know, took some Koha and you know, all this stuff, and I took a pill and made me ill, and all these library terms that I don't understand.
So to turn the tables.
Sorry, I have a whole line worked up for that.
That's awesome, Steve.
Yeah, now I'm stuck with showing up. So, hi, I'm Steve, in case you don't know me. Administrative manager here, CKLS, and also for the Great Bend Library. They don't let me be heard in public or seen in public very often. They hide me in the closet upstairs, and it's, you know, that's probably where I should be. So anyway, Maribeth's got a PowerPoint set up, and I was just going to go through some forms, and feel free to type in questions on the chat as you have them, or holler back, and I'll try not to talk. I know this stuff, but I'll try to talk in the way that it makes sense to everyone else. So, and I know there's a variation of different levels here as far as staffing goes, as far as payroll things go, things you need to do, or, you know, maybe on a quarterly basis, or maybe you just on an annual basis, things like that. So make sure we get it all, hopefully everybody covered. So, okay. And do you have the PowerPoint, Maribeth, or do you want me to bring it up?
I can do it. I can do it. Yep.
I'm sorry. Oh, I can bring it up. So,
you can bring it up. Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, I should have practiced this.
You want me to run it? I can run it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, no, not a problem. Can you see my screen with the PowerPoint? Okay.
Yep. Okay. So, hey, here's the introduction. The I-9, now can I click on the forms if you're running it, Maribeth?
Not from the PowerPoint, no. But I can put I can do it.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I guess the first off is the first day they walk in the door, basically you need the I-9 form, which sounds really, really formal. It's the, you know, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. The employees basically filling out this first section, their name, all that good stuff. Then the citizens, everything else like that down below those boxes. A lot of this stuff you're not going to deal with, alien registration numbers or I-94, or, you know, they have all kinds of terms.
And I wanted to jump in here. We had a library that called asking what to do with the situation. Somebody came in and wanted the librarian to sign to affirm that this person was who they said they were on an I-9 form.
Right.
Now, the I-9 form is supposed to be between the employee and the employer. A librarian is not authorized, nor should you want to be, as a person that can verify a person is who they say they are. So
right, and that's towards the bottom there on that first page that you're on, Maribeth, that I see. Alien registration number or the I-90. If they include that, then, and if they need the translator, then that's where that would come in complete, you know, if they needed someone to assist in completing section 1.
Okay. But that's different than somebody signing and saying this person is who they
Correct,
say they are.
right.
This is just somebody helping them fill out the form. And that's two completely different things. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as far as the library, they're not going to verify the actual information. They're just a helping out. So on the second page is that section 2 is the documents you need. And the first, there's a list A. If you have any one of those, you're good to go. Or if you don't have one of those, list B and C, you need one of each of those. Okay. Yeah, there we go. And here's the kind of the listing. If you have a passport, obviously, that's covers everything, so it's good to go. The rest of the other ones that are down there on that list weren't, you know, it's not very typical, I guess, or for at least being in central Kansas. And on the list B, the most common things are the top ones: the driver's license and then the Social Security card. You need both of those. You can also take a voter registration card on the one side. If they don't have a Social Security card, you can do a birth certificate, that type of stuff. So, or if it's someone like our younger kids that do a part-time or something like that, they can do a school ID that's got a photograph on it. So that's good. The one I really liked, scroll down just a little bit, Maribeth. I'm sorry, I should.
That's okay.
Okay, number 12 on there. You know, if you still have your daycare or nursery record, you can get qualified to work. My mother-in-law does daycare, so I don't know that she provides a record, but I'm going to have to ask her.
I kind of want to see what that looks like. I didn't
Sorry, you'll find a lot of smart aleck comments in my presentations. That's why they don't let me out of the closet very often. We have a new hire list that I made up that goes down through all these forms. One of them, Maribeth put it in there, was the direct deposit information. When we do payroll, we do direct deposit. So on that, we get you know, it's kind of the same as if you do any with your bank, any ACH payments or things like that. You know, all you really need from the other party is a routing number and their account number and checking or savings, and you can place money into their account. So it's the debit side that you can't pull money back out of their account. So.
It's just something we don't want to be able to do anyway.
No.
And as a bank account person, I don't want you to be able to do that either. So
yeah, if I screw up, then you know I'm gonna have to cover it. So okay, any questions? I don't have the chat up on my.
I don't see any. I did make my screen larger, so I'll try to make sure that that's easy for people.
That's okay. Oh yeah. No, it's just yours. Okay, and then so that's first when an employee first comes into work. You're supposed to fill that out right away the first day of work. You know, sometimes they don't have all that information, especially like a Social Security card or that with them. So
it would be good when you hire the person, you know, and you say your start date is X or whatever, then just kind of, can you please remember to bring your passport and or, you know, the documentation that they need. And that way.
Yeah, and let them know that, and like you said, and then retention of that form, that's another little piece I needed to mention. So we hired a gal, you know, back in June, high school girl to help upstairs here at the Great Bend Library. So, you know, that starts the clock, so to speak. Filled out the form, got all the information. Now, as an employer, I'm required to keep that form for 3 years. from that date. And we keep them in a separate file, not in the employee file, which is a recommendation I heard, to keep them separate in case you ever would get checked on. Fortunately, we never have, or I haven't anyway. But then, once they're gone, once they leave employment, then you keep it an additional year after that. So like the high school girl, I mean, she may be gone, after next year when she graduates, but I still would have to keep it for 3 years. But if someone's been here for, say, 5 or 6 years, then after that, I need to keep it for 1 year after they leave. So
We do have a couple questions in the chat.
I saw a message pop up from Rachel. So
Yeah, we have, so Angel wanted to know the difference between the W-4 and the KW-4, and we'll get to that in the next part.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, we'll get that.
I went back to the I-9.
Yeah. And Rachel wants to know, is it okay to have somebody start working before absolutely every new employee form is returned? I've heard it just needs to be in by the first paycheck, by the time the first paycheck is issued.
Yeah, I would think so too. Officially, probably technically, if somebody was sitting there in your office and from the Department of Labor or something like that, then maybe it'd be a different answer. But my opinion is yes, most people don't have it right away, but they'll get it to you within a day or two, and it's just fine.
Thank you.
So Steve, how long is the intake for a new employee for you? Is that like 3 days and you expect to try to take care of all of that stuff in those first 3 days of employment?
Yeah, somewhere in that range. I mean, no more than a week.
No more than a week.
That I cross off everything.
Thank you.
And have everything submitted and people input in. Quite a bit of this from my end, and not maybe from the smaller library end. I can do these online. I can do them on my computer. So, and submit whatever. The I-9 form, you don't send it off. You just keep it on file. All these other forms not all the other forms. Some of these other forms you always keep on file, and then later we'll get into forms you have to submit.
So you don't submit the I-9, it just stays on file.
No.
I did not know that. Interesting.
Yeah. It just sits.
It just sits. Okay.
So like I said, if they never come to check you out, hey, they never come to check.
But you still want to be compliant. You don't want
but when they do, you better have one. Would be the writing. Okay.
Okay, W-4s. Yeah, direct deposit. Yep. And then W-4s and KW-4s.
And the W-4, if you click on that link for me, Maribeth.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. There's not of course, the government had to rearrange this. So instead of a 2-page form, it's a 4-page form. But really, you only care about the first page, to be quite honest with you. And it's just the employer or, anybody you're hiring, they put in their names and all that stuff up top, how they're going to file, single, married, or head of household. And what they pick on that is going to affect how much you withhold for federal withholding, is where this is going. How much do you withhold out of each paycheck for the employee? Okay, step 2, multiple jobs. Quite honestly, I'm familiar with the form. I don't hardly even look at step 2. If people want help filling this out or what their withholding amounts are going to be, it's easier just to skip that, and I'll tell them when I meet with them.
Well, and Steve, one thing to think about, the majority of our very, very small, our solo librarians do have a second job. And
right.
So when they fill this out, they're looking from their own perspective, and generally they're working with their city to get their documents filled out. But at some point you may get that call just because they want to make sure that they're withholding enough money so they don't have to pay in the end.
Right.
But
Right.
we do have a lot of solos who have 2 and 3 jobs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of it's looking at the tables. If you know, those withholding tables, you know, if I make $1,000, how much, you know, if I claim single 0, I'm going to take out this much. If I'm going to claim married 3, I'm going to take out this much. So, and then step 3 is really where if your income will be 200 or less than 400,000. So I'm sure that applies to everybody, right? That was supposed to be a joke, but I can't hear everybody laughing. So
The librarian pay is no laughing matter, Steve.
okay.
That's a raw nerve. Right
Yeah, no. Anyway, the qualifying children, that's always the dependents in that. And then the next one was the other dependents. That, you know, if you're taking care of someone in your home and you can claim them on your tax return, that counts as another one. So you can add up for your dependents and put that total on step 3. And then on the step 4, it says the optional, the other income on 4A, the deductions on 4B, extra withholding on 4C. So when I get forms back, most of the time, it's really what I have to put in on payroll to determine how much withholding is. Are they single, are they married joint, or they can do head of household. So there's tables for each of those 3 pieces out there. And then extra withholding on 4C. So there's a lot of people that want an extra amount taken out. So for example, on my tax return, I'm married, I have no dependents, even though I claim my dogs. It's another joke. But no,
I got it.
married, net, but I withhold single and 0 because that withholds more money than married and 0 exemption. So it kind of works backwards. If I claimed a married and 2 exemptions, like probably I should, you know, according to the tables, I would have less withheld. But I like having single and 0 and getting more withheld. And that way I don't have to fork up any money at the end of the year. So the tables kind of work backwards. So
Okay.
anyway, and we do have a lot of people, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but we have a number of people here at CKLS that do have extra withholding. So there's an extra $20 taken out of each paycheck that covers federal withholding taxes.
Is there a limit
Really,
on how much
all
you can
that step's
withhold?
doing is for, you know, hopefully everybody filed your tax return by yesterday. I did mine last night, so I think I'm covered now. You know, I'm the ultimate procrastinator, so you know, I hate to file it before I have to. But anyway.
Is there a limit to how much you can take out of withholding? I mean, obviously not more than your paycheck.
No, there's no limit. It's just, you know, you hear the pros and cons of it, but it's really how much, you know, you not want to have to pay come April 15th, filed your tax returns on time, or do you want to get a refund back, or and then how much, so to speak. You know, I'd rather get a big refund, or I'd rather pay, or, you know, call it good. And that some people who over withhold, they get the refund back. And, you know, some of the pundits say, well, you know, you let the government use your money all year. So, you know, that's kind of the downfall of that. Yeah, there's the instructions. If you need some sleepy time, there you go.
So Steve, is there a way that people can see, say, at the halfway mark through the year, where they are, so then they can make those decisions if they want to have additional money withheld?
Yeah, by that point, you'll know off last year's taxes. Probably, by April, and it's like, see how this turned out. And then you can kind of gauge through the year, okay, if I'm making the same or if I'm making a little more, and look at the pay stubs and see how much is being withheld, if it's on the same pace or above too. So.
And on a related question, or maybe it's not related, but it's a personal question I have, and I bet a lot of people have it. Is it known if there is an effect on this coming year's taxes because we received stimulus checks?
I do not know that answer.
That would be something, as you hear it, we would like to
Yeah.
share that information with our CK libraries.
That's like the, it takes me clear back to the I-9. Is the question I've always had is, Kansas, they're doing the real ID now for the driver's license card, and I don't know where that falls. I'm assuming it just falls under that, like a regular driver's license. So, but I never have found the answer on the I-9. So. Anyway, but yes, good question.
Okay. Do we want to see the Kansas withholding real quick and then move
Sure,
on?
and it's, Kansas can't be outdone. They want to have their own form, but it's really the same form. It's more like the simplified version of the federal form.
This one's only one page.
Yeah, it's which was the federal form before. It had 2 pages, but one was instruction. On the Kansas form, there's a top section where you can go through there. You can do single, you can do joint, or even if you're married like myself, I can still claim single. So it doesn't verify that he's not married, or he is married. They don't care. And then again, it goes through the exemptions on B, C, D, F, the total. So if you just put in 0, then it's going to withhold more. If you put in 5, then it's going to withhold a lot less money out of your paycheck. So
Okay.
so you'll get more in your pocket each paycheck, but you may end up paying more if you owe that at the end of it. So down on the bottom is the part you fill out. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You're fine.
I'm the one that got ahead of you.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right. Yeah. That's what we get from the employee.
Okay.
So in
And-
those
and-
forms, go ahead.
And Steve, since we're at a point where you say a lot of this you can do online, if a librarian is still doing it on paper, they need to keep that paper in that personnel file with individual people, or does it go in something else?
No, I keep that on file with the individual employee record.
Okay,
Correct.
so even though you can do them online, do you print them out and they go with your?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so you have a print copy of everyone's I-9 and their W-4 and their KW-4 in their personnel files.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
And then, of course, like
Yeah,
you said before, go ahead.
Yeah. The W-4 and the KW-4, the employees are filling this out
Right.
when they apply. So I just keep their copies. I don't do those online.
When they start work, not when they apply.
Yeah, the
for job.
I-9 documentation, I do a lot of that online because I can type it right in.
Okay.
So, and then I make copies of their whatever information they provide, like
Their
driver's
identification.
license, Social Security, passport. So,
Passport.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and the workers' comp law. And
I'll put that in there.
law division. This site is really nice for the workers' comp. There is a new hire form that you fill out, and to let them know you've got a new hire. That way they're included in the work comp stuff. Oops. Oh.
I was trying to find the link for the new hire.
Oh, I'll send that link out.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's
I did
okay.
not put that in.
That's okay. I was just trying to find it so I could show them where it was.
It's okay. It's up under the employers tab.
There we go. Oh, it wants to
I
go there.
think.
Yeah. Guide to benefits.
Well, okay, it was somewhere.
Forms and publications, I think, would probably be it.
That could have been it. I don't remember. I had it at one point.
Okay. Yeah,
You're
we'll
right.
send that out. We'll make sure that that's in the
I'll
packet.
make sure it gets out. So
Okay.
anyway, yeah, workers' comp. You're required to have insurance on the employees. Workers' comp insurance and that we get them through regular insurance providers. And normally they rate us as a company. My words, it's a company, but they rate us, and then we pay based off total salaries times that certain rate. That's our premium.
So is that an annual cost?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so if the library doesn't have this set up, how do they go
Yeah,
about
they should
getting it
check
set
with
up?
insurance people.
Just any insurance agency should be able to help them get set up with the workers' comp
Right.
insurance. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then every now and then they'll come in and they'll audit us for payroll and that, and just to base the benefit or the premium off of our audit, how much we're actually paying in payroll, because they kind of guesstimate it each year as they renew it. So,
Okay.
so it's really simple to do. It's just a matter of submitting our quarterly tax payments and stuff like that.
Okay. You just send that into your insurance agency,
Right.
your quarterly tax. Okay.
Yeah. And then the other things on the new hire list that I have are our benefits, all the listing of all the benefits we offer, whether it's health insurance or dental insurance, if there's life insurance that we have some short-term disability, you can go right down the list of different benefits that you may or may not offer. So I know a lot of small libraries, there's no benefits whatsoever. And if you get to the bigger cities, then maybe you do have a portion of some benefits anyway. So it works well. So like I said, I like having the checklist and that. And then the last is probably should have been the first, the handbook and policies. If you have that in place, we have a handbook for CKLS, we have a handbook for Great Bend, and it lays out all the different employer information. So those are good to have, or must-haves, really, not just good to have.
Well, you should know what their rules are and what they need to.
Right.
What
And
lines they have to
Gail's
follow.
done a wonderful job of setting all that up here. Really we've gone through all those and
Yeah.
got them cleaned up. And
if your library has an employee policy handbook and it hasn't been looked at in a while, take some time and go through it. If your library does not have an employee policy handbook, we have, let me pull this up. We do have policies that we can share with you. They are sample policies. And these are more for the library policy ones, but I can also, I'll also put on a new tab that's employee policies. That should be separate from your library policies. And I'll share that out with everybody as well. And we can also, if it's time to review your policies, you can send them into CKLS. We prefer a digital copy, but you can send in a print copy that we can look through, make sure that they are law compliant, Kansas Library law compliant, or federal labor law compliant. And then we can also make sure that your policies are well written and meet the need that they need to meet. So if you haven't looked at your policies in a while, you should probably take out your employee handbook if you have one and see what's going on there. I will make a note to add employee policy handbook to the resource guide there.
Before we leave this page, while Mary's taking some notes, I have a couple of questions for Steve.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back up to the I-9. In the case where what is the situation where a librarian does a contract for someone either to do work on their building or to provide a service, or say a programmer? Is there a document that they have to fill out because they're not a traditional employee? So what is that?
That's going to fall under like contract labor is what that's going to fall under. So you do not need to do an I-9 for that.
Okay.
Is there any form that you need to do?
No, I'm going to take that back. Yes. You should do a W-9
Okay.
is the form. And what that is all you're doing is sending it out to the company to get their like employer identification number or their social security number if it's a person.
Okay. And that would be the case where it's not where someone's doing work for you, like say a handyman, or someone who is someone who presents a science program. Are those the same kinds of things?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Like our when you have speaker come in for like summer library program, and we pay them, we're sending a W-9. They provide a W-9 to us. That way we have their social security number, and then we file at the end of the year. We file what's called a 1099 miscellaneous form that shows that contract labor number. So
And
it's
then
not
the
really
responsibility
wages.
for their taxes is on the individual laborer.
Right.
Okay. That was what the crux of my question was, but I know we have libraries of all sizes here in our room today. And then my next question is the all scary workers' comp situation. How quickly and what steps do you have to follow if someone is injured or has died in a employee-related accident while on the clock?
Right. We have an incident response, or not incident response, an accident report. We also have an incident response report, but that's if something happened. But the accident report, those I put in online. Employees will give me those basically right away or within a couple of days. I think it's within a 10-day period I have to report it up to the Department of Labor and at least get it put up. But that is one that I can do completely online. So, and a lot of times that's I do it through the Department of Labor, but also I can contact the insurance company, and I can submit the forms. Whoever provides our workers' comp insurance, they usually have a form that I can fill in too, or at least I can call them.
So I'm going to be that devil's advocate because I need to learn this stuff. So in the case where Johnny falls on the ice while he's out scraping snow off the sidewalk, and the sidewalks are our responsibility, so we're not going to go there. It's our responsibility. But he slips on the ice and he breaks his leg and he has to go to the emergency room.
Right.
In terms of a building, can an employee just take him there and we just go forward, or do we have to fill out forms before we can leave to go to the hospital?
Oh no, go to the hospital first.
And just in our case, just notify management that that's what's happening.
Right. Yeah. He would go get taken care of, very first thing. That's the highest priority, and the paperwork will follow later. And honestly, when the hospital would call or something like that, they will want a workers' comp case number, is how that goes. So, I have to submit the information on what happened best I can, and then they provide me with, oh, here's the case number. And so then I can provide that down the line to the providers doing the healthcare. And then, they all get together. So
the hospital
here.
makes, okay, go ahead, Angel.
Our mayor of our little town is replacing my ADA sinks. Do I have to have a W-9 for him?
You probably should, yes, would be the right answer. The annual reporting, that 1099 form that you give for a contract labor person, there's a threshold in that. So if you're paying them over $600, you have to report it. So
Okay.
if I was doing a side job and I only got paid $200 for the year, and that was it, they really wouldn't have to report it. They certainly can, but I don't fall above that threshold of $600. So if I was doing some contract labor.
Yes, Patty, he is.
So like someone mowing your yard, unless you're going to pay them $600 for the summer, you don't have to report it on a 1099.
So that $600 is that limit.
Yeah, they put a threshold in there to where,
So you don't have to report it.
After that, you don't worry about it.
So that would mean like our summer library program people that come in and present, they aren't usually $600. They're usually $200, $300. You wouldn't have to do.
Some of the speakers have been before, but
yeah.
Okay. But and we honestly kind of err on the side of we just do the W-9 and
you just report
send out
everything.
the form for everybody.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, and I have one more question from the chat. How many posters are we required to have posted? Because Erica wants to make sure they have them all. We do have a link to the federal labor posters and the Kansas labor posters in another slide.
Yeah, that's the end of the PowerPoint, isn't it? I mean, sorry.
The
last page is where I'm at.
Yeah, we do have it, and I'll make sure that that's in the chat as well, Erica.
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of these, there's companies that they'll call up and want you to order posters, or you can, buy them online. And we have some links.
We have some links.
Gail's printed all these out that are out there and provided, you can find them for free.
Yeah, we have the links from the federal sites where you can download for free and print. And if you'd like CKLS to print them for you, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we've already talked about the I-9 form must be completed by this employer. I have submitted, but I'm going to take that off because it just needs to be completed by the employer.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's page 3 of the I-9 form has the documentation list of what counts for what.
Right. So. Okay. Capers.
Capers.
Last part of the checklist, the benefit stuff. I don't know of all the libraries that are on, whether you're in Capers or not. We can be in Capers, involved in Capers, and we are with the library system, also our public library here. The city of Great Bend, they've actually opted out. They don't do Capers, so
they have another.
They have their own retirement plan.
Okay.
So
how do you find out if if your library is signed up for Capers?
There's a list on the website, and I can give you that. Only I can go out there and look who everybody is online. It's just the Capers. I can probably find it real quick, but I'll keep talking and you keep yeah. Active member, no. Employers, maybe that's it. Anyway, just kind of looking at your screen. Oh, I'm sorry. The CAPERS is a lot of you are familiar maybe with a 401k plan or other retirement plans. CAPERS is similar to that, but it's a defined benefit plan. And what that means is you're going to get a certain amount of money each month after you retire.
And it's based on your last 5 years of salary, is that correct?
Right, correct. Yeah, that retirement money, it accumulates. It takes 5 years to be quote unquote vested in it. So what I put in, I haven't been here 5 years. So what I've put in so far as an employee on that portion, I would get back if I quit tomorrow. But the employer side of it, what they've contributed, I wouldn't get back at all. But after 5 years, then all that combines together and all of it's vested. So
Okay, thank
that's
you.
one key thing. To qualify, it's some of the, and like I said, some of these smaller libraries, I don't know if there's a 20 hours a week that you work, if you're only open certain amounts, so that's kind of the threshold there. And then the cost, it is a bit costly. It takes 6% out of my paycheck. And then on the other side, the employer matches 9%. And like a 401k, other places, I can contribute, any percentage I want. And then the employers sometimes match, and they'll match up to maybe what you give or a certain percent. So it's similar in that regard. But the 401k, it'll fluctuate in value. That CAPERS is going to be defined by your salary amount and that. Once you have enough service credits, then you can retire out of CAPERS. Retire before 62. Employee. Okay, 6%'s the employee, Patty, and 9%'s the employer. If I said that wrong.
I think
6% the highest that you can donate from as an employee.
Yeah,
they have pretty set limits.
Yeah,
if you are looking to add employee benefits to your library, I would check and see what your city offers to their employers and try to do something similar or comparable. It would take, you can levy an additional tax for employee benefits. It would be a separate levy from your ad valorem library fund. And it would have to, I believe it would have to be voted by the public, but I'm not sure on that, how you get started. So there is a big process if you are looking to add employee benefits to your library. Contact us and we can help you start that process and know what steps you need to take for that.
right. There's an employee benefits fund that sits separate from
And
your
both
library levy. So
yeah, that's how we do it for CK and for Great Bend Public Library as well.
Yeah.
So the next section we have here is quarterly requirements and what forms need to be submitted on a quarterly basis.
Right, and the payroll taxes, if you owe enough, it's a 941 form on a quarterly basis. What that pays, that's to the federal government. And when you make payroll, or when you do a payroll, 6.2%, you automatically deduct. Here's the gross pay, then you automatically deduct the payroll taxes, which are Social Security is 6.2%, Medicare is 1.45%, and then the federal withholding, that's based off the tables, how much you make versus, and looking at how much you claimed on that W-4 form. So if I'm single zero, I look at the table, here's how much I made, here's single zero, here's how much I withhold. The 941 form is the quarterly reporting and payment of that tax. And yeah, there you go.
And this can be submitted online?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they can. And you check the quarter, you fill out the top, number of employees, they ask that. The wages are in 2. However much you withhold for all your employees is in 3. Oops, go back up, Maribeth, sorry. In 5A and then 5C are really the ones you take your wages times 0.124, which for the mathematician, that's 12.4%, which is the 6.2% that you take out of the employee's check, and then the employer also has to pay 6.2%. And then Medicare down below in 5C, that's 0.029. That's the 1.45 plus 1.45. So together they add 290 or 2.9% or 0.029. Anyway, and then you add those 3 up. It's those 3 pieces: federal withholding, the Social Security for both employee and employer, and the Medicare for both employee and employer.
3,
and it's those
5A and 3, 5A,
3,
and 5C.
5A and 5C.
Those are the key ones.
Yeah, well, I mean, for most people.
Yeah, for
that's
most
gonna
people.
be-
We're gonna have to talk in generalities.
I can see Patty's contemplating.
So Patty has a question. So this is your combined wage that you've paid everybody, that the taxes are reported quarterly on what everybody in the building.
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that makes sense to not have to figure it out for the entire year. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I did have the note on there that if it's below a minimum wage limit, which I don't have that limit, but if you get paid below that, whatever that benchmark is, would be an annual support for your taxes. So
2,500.
2,500. So if you get,
You stole my thunder, but that's okay.
sorry. Oh man, now I feel bad.
It's a 944 form, which
Okay.
I don't have a link to, but it
Yeah,
looks
we have it.
exactly like
Yeah.
the 941 form. So, and it's the same exact thing.
And that's for,
Put your wages, you put the withholding, you put Social Security and Medicare times the 12.4 and the 2.9. So,
and that 2,500, is that annual or monthly?
yeah, annual.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Oh, sorry guys. Let's get you dizzy. How about that? Okay.
That's right. And then there's for unemployment taxes. Roll through those fairly quickly. Holy crap! Didn't realize I was talking so long. The federal form is a 940. That's an annual form. Your payments to all the employees, and if you scroll down, it's a there you go. And yeah, FUTA tax. So it's 0.08%.
So FUTA is Federal Unemployment Tax Act.
Yeah,
or
federal
something.
unemployment tax. So everyone pays that.
So when we say FUTA,
and
people know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm
No.
very bad. I say FUTA, and I expect everybody.
And
to know that.
and it's like us saying COHA. You don't know what we're talking
Yeah, it's exactly right. Pill and ill and all that stuff. And CUTA is this one, Kansas unemployment tax. Oh, that just took us to.
Oh, I might have the wrong.
That's okay.
I must have the wrong link.
That's okay. It's nothing real exciting. It's just pretty much the same form as the federal form.
Okay, I'll make sure that that's
The
updated.
Kansas unemployment taxes.
You will see here that there is a place on the one that I do have, which is the Department of Labor, Kansas. There's a place to report fraud. So this is where you would report those unemployment, fraudulent unemployment applications or reports or whatever that's been filed under your name or one of your employees' names. So let me put that in there as well, so that fraud report.
Right, because I had that on my notes, because we've gone through that, and I know a number of people have gone through that, is the fake workers' comp claims, or unemployment claims. excuse
Fake
me.
unemployment claims,
Um,
yes. And I think I have my,
I was going to say, if you
I
want
must
any
have-
advice, ask Missy downstairs at CKLS. Because she went through the whole process and you know, just getting in touch with the unemployment people is quite the process to begin with. She went through and reset everything, and she had to prove who she was, and she does have a login now, and she found out they had a different email address and a different phone number and all kinds of good information.
so can somebody go and create their own account with this, not with the fraud, but with the unemployment claim, so that
Yeah.
account cannot be made in
Yes,
their
you
name?
sure can. Mhm.
What is the benchmark to file a 941 for wages, or where can I find this?
Oh, for what? It's the tax liability is what that 2,500 is.
It's 2,500, and where is that? Is that listed somewhere that she can go and find that?
Oh, it was on the.
Is it on the
I
941?
flipped the page over, and it was the link I didn't have for you.
Oh, okay. We will make sure that we have that.
I apologize. I just flipped it over. I had it right in front of me. 944. Yeah.
944.
If she goes on the 944
Nine-
form.
Oh, okay.
Back on,
I do have
back
that.
on the instructions. I apologize. Here we go. Your net taxes for the year are less than 2,500.
Net taxes are less than 2,500.
Right. So that's going to be the Social Security out of the employee's check plus the employer's portion. It's going to be the Medicare out of the employee's check and the Medicare for the employer's portion, and then how much you withheld. So
Okay.
a lot of small are not going to have near that.
Right. So they would do the annual 944.
Yeah, we do here, but obviously, but in
Yeah.
the bigger libraries.
We have more employees and
Uh-huh.
yeah. Okay. Annual requirements. What needs to be done on an annual basis?
The annual reports, like I said, I already covered those quarterly payroll taxes. If you have to file quarterly, then you file quarterly. The federal unemployment is an annual form. Kansas unemployment, they do quarterly. So those are off that. Then once you get to the end of the year, you're filing your fourth quarter stuff. They changed the W-2s to be getting them out by January 31st. And then you submit them to the Social Security Administration, and they can be submitted online. I did put that in. There's a SSA site where you can go in and get a login password. So I could actually fill out a W-2 form online, and it's automatically submitted.
Okay.
So those are real nice. We have a payroll processor, so of course they do that. But I had to go in and fix them this last year. so for us, so anyway, I could go through the Social Security site and actually do the corrected forms. It was kind of painful, but anyway, we got through it.
So here are the links for the. Oops, sorry. Oops.
That's all right. Most of those forms are due by January 31st.
January 31st.
Yeah.
So here are the posters that should be posted in your. I don't have it on the thing. I will make sure that gets out. It is. Let me see. Can I select? No. Okay. So these are the ones that need to be posted in your staff lounge or wherever you can that your employees know it's available. There are the Kansas labor law posters, and then there are the required federal posters. Again, some company may charge you, I think it's $80 or something to print these off, but you can download and print them for free, or have CQLS print them for you. We can print up to 11 by 17. So here are some COVID, Families First COVID Response Act posters. But then there are also like the Fair Labor Standards Act posters. Let me see. So here are specific folders, and you can also get them in the Spanish version if you want. So here is the FLSA minimum wage poster, and you can get it in large color, small color, or in black and white. So I will give you that direct link because that'll make life a little easier for you. And then there's also the Kansas posters. The child labor poster, the unemployment insurance, the workers' comp poster, and the EEOC poster as well.
So do all of those have to be posted, Maribeth? Steve is nodding his head.
Yes. Yes. I was just reading the caption at the top. Yes, these are ones that should all be printed and posted somewhere in the workplace.
And they don't have to necessarily be in a staff space if there's really no staff space. I've seen them hanging in restrooms in some of the libraries because that's the only wall they've got that's not got something else on it, but it's hanging somewhere.
But
it has to be somewhere that is visible.
Yes. Yeah, they're all over the place.
They can't be put in a notebook. Is that correct?
They need to be posted. Yes.
They need to be posted, not put in a notebook.
Correct.
Okay. And there's a link to the Kansas one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. And then once you get everybody to read it, good luck waking them up for the afternoon.
And then I wanted to spend a little bit of time on the tax exemption form. If your library has a tax exemption form, it does need to be renewed. I think it goes for 4 years. CQLS just renewed our tax exemption form. You are a public library. If you don't have a tax exemption form, I would recommend working to get one.
Diane is the treasurer of the Bison Library Board, and she said it's super easy to renew now.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah,
and so here's the sites to get your exemption certificate and how to get that started or how to get that renewed.
Right. I renewed both Great Bend and CKLS probably a month ago, and it took less than probably 15 minutes. So
yeah, because just be aware that does expire. So don't think that once you have it, you're done. You have to kind of keep. I use Google Calendar, so I would set a calendar reminder in 4 years, so then it reminds me then, and I don't have to think about it until then. And then I also wanted to spend just a few seconds here on, this is the itemized budget. Let's see. Oh, it's going to download it. Let's see if it'll let me share it. Okay, I need to exit this. And then I need to do that. Let's see if it'll let me do it. This is the itemized budget for monthly budget reports or treasury reports. It shows the revenue side at the top and the expenditure side at the bottom. Make it full screen here.
there you go.
There we go. We're going to zoom in a little bit too because that's way too small. What happened? Oh no. Okay, we're not going to do that. Don't save that. All right. Well, it's all good plans. Okay. Let's see if it opens up again. Try again. Try again. Okay, so this has, there we go, way too big now. You will see that at the top you have your income. You can have your taxes. This one's broken out with the different kinds of taxes that you will receive from the city. This will help you know like where you are, how much taxes have been collected, if you're behind or ahead. You can also have other sources of income. And then at the bottom is the expense category, salaries, payroll, unemployment, those are all broken out. And I think that really helps for when you're calculating raises. You also need to calculate then what are you going to have to put in as an employer for your payroll, taxes, etc. So that's why I like to have that separated out. And then other expenses, you can see that each month is down here at the bottom. Each month is laid out. That means that when you put in all your numbers in January, it's going to then show up. It's all formulated like magic. So when you put calculations in one place, it's going to go out throughout each and every tab. So you add it to February, and then in March, it's going to calculate everything that you have left. I do have the links to that as well. So I will share that with you. This is created by Laura DeBarn, who is the director at Northeast Kansas Library System. And she also, it didn't share the link. Let me get the link.
Laura is who teaches the budget section of Apple, which is the applied library education program that we do for new directors. And Laura has been here to do presentations for us, and you'll find on our YouTube page some of Laura's presentations. So if you're truly starting from scratch on budget, that's the place to start. She's excellent.
Yeah, I don't know what all that gobbledygook is in there, got covered. But the link there is at the bottom for the itemized budget. And if you go to our LibGuides, I do have it for trustee training resources, and there's a whole budget tab there with links to the 2019 webinar. There's 2 parts, and then also the itemized Excel budget, which is the one I just shared with you, and then some other budget planning examples and spreadsheets to help you out. I'm going to put this link in there as well for you. Budget.
If you've never looked at the plethora of information on the CKLS LibGuides and our YouTube page, you're missing out on a lot of library information that is right there at your fingertips. And we know that some of you come to work and you start your shift at 6 o'clock and you work 6 to 8 for your one night open, and that's the night you want to work on something, and your CKLS consultants are at home sitting in front of their TVs eating dinner. So so sometimes we're not available. So if you try us via email and you don't get us right away, don't forget that you have these wonderful resources available, and they're on every subject that we have ever taught you anything on.
So here you can find it on any page on the CKLS website. There's several ways to get to it. I find that this one's the easiest on any page of the website. If you go to the right-hand side, you're going to see CKLS resource guides, and there's a drop-down menu, and you can pick which one you're looking for. We have archives, we have forms, we have grants, we have trustee training, patron guides, library policies, intellectual freedom. Once you go to that site, you still can access all the other LibGuides. You would just click on the LibGuides link right there, which is a little less intuitive for me. And you will see that there are tabs that help corral all the information by subject.
And LibGuide and resource guide are things we use. Those 2 words are the same. It's just like Pathfinder and Koha. The words mean the same thing, but some people have heard one, and so that's the words they're looking for. So we've tried to make that easy as well.
Thank you. And I hope that this has been some useful information. We will send out the links with the page with all the links on it. It'll also have a Google folder that has the slideshow. We will add those couple of links that we had missing as well. And this has been recorded, so I will send out the recording as soon as I am able, and all our handouts are available. Are there any questions before we end today?
And know that if you have deeper questions and you're not even sure what you're asking, to contact Maribeth or Steve, And this is our first time presenting with Steve, so we apologize. There's a little bit of talk over and those things, but it's us getting our rhythm. So that we're pretty comfortable with each other by now. But so if there's something that you didn't think we got to fully, partly because I was asking a million questions because I wanted to know stuff, but so please ask those questions and don't hesitate to email any of us, and we'll be glad to guide you in the right direction.
And we can help you kind of understand what you're looking at or what you're looking for. So please ask. If we miss your phone call, please leave a voicemail. It is forwarded to our email so that we can get it even when we're on the road or away from our desks. It always seems to be that everybody calls me when I go to the bathroom, and I don't answer the phone in the bathroom. So please, please, please leave a voicemail so I know what I'm calling back about, and I can come prepared to the phone call. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We will see you, hopefully, at the afternoon meeting. It starts at, I don't even know what time it starts. At 1:30. The director's meeting is at 1:30, and we hope to see you there. And have a good weekend if we don't. We'll see you later.
Bye, friends. See you this afternoon.